I welcome you all today. Thank you so much for coming. And on that vein, I'm going to thank also a few other people, including PwC, for sponsoring this venue, which I'm sure you'll all agree is a wonderful venue in the middle of town. And refreshments later, so do stay for the refreshments. This project, this theme, this research was actually the first initiative that Civic Exchange crowdfunded, which was a new way of raising support for an issue, and we thought this was a perfect issue to trial this with. So I also thank those of you, including yours truly, who may have funded us through this project because you're a funder and collaborator. I would like to also thank our speakers for today, Ms. Kareem, Mr. Gavin, and Paul Zimmerman is going to help with our moderation later. And last but not least, we could not do any of this without the Civic Exchange team. Thank you, Cindy, stop whispering. Without Cindy, we certainly couldn't have gotten where we are today. With Cosmo, Vicky, Joyce, Stephen, I shouldn't forget that few people, Irene, and all the other directors of Civic Exchange as well. So without further ado, I just want to do a couple of minutes just to refresh you on what, in fact, Civic Exchange does. We are independent. We are independently funded. We are non-partisan, Hong Kong-based. We're a public policy think tank. We're very proud of the fact that we are ranked 46th of the top world environmental policy think tanks. Our vision is shaping a livable and sustainable Hong Kong to enhance our sense, our collective resident sense of well-being. How do we enable that vision? Our mission, the work that we focus on, is within three major themes: air quality, nature conservation, and the urban environment. Air quality, better air quality for better health. The points below the headings are the types of projects that we are focusing on at the moment. These are not all of the issues that we've worked on with air quality, but right now we're looking at regional air quality, and part of the region is the Pearl River Delta shipping emissions, and we're also looking at exposure issues with individuals and the exposure that they have to air pollution at street and indoor level. Nature conservation. We are so blessed in Hong Kong to have such a natural environment amidst the density that really makes us thrive as a community. We're looking at ecosystem services, biodiversity strategy action plan, wildlife trade, and country park management. Now, within the urban environment, which is the bigger theme that we are going to be talking about today, walkability, water resources management. We're releasing a research next week, actually, on the water resources issues in Hong Kong. Public open space, this is where we're going to spend our time today, mobility and sustainable transport. So public open space is very important to us. We care deeply about residents' livability in Hong Kong. And I guess livability is really the sum of all factors which contribute to quality of life in Hong Kong. This includes, but it's not limited to our natural, it's not limited to our built and our natural environment. Now, we all know, we all live it, and certainly we're going to figure out today who lives it the most, that we are a very densely populated community in Hong Kong. We work and live in environments that are already small enough. So what happens at street level becomes even more important to our overall well-being. Now, this seminar is an important part of the overall project and our collective efforts to improve open space in Hong Kong. Karine has brought together data that has not actually been collated, analysed, or published before. Now, as a think tank, you know, part of our role is to bring that data together. The other part of our role is to use that data to influence policy, to make changes in Hong Kong. Now, this is not just changing laws and regulations and practices. This is mindsets. This is behaviours. This is practices across all sectors, not just the government. Now, an important process, or part of that process, is learning from you, the stakeholders, including government, but not limited to government. Learning from you and informing you. because you are all part of the ecosystem that ultimately influences public space in Hong Kong. Within each of your sectors, you have an ability to influence, both now, and we're hoping that if we can start seeding conversations and information, if you also attract yourselves into initiatives in the future that can continue to influence public open space. Now, we hope that this seminar not only informs you, but it inspires you to use your influence in the future. This seminar is far from the end of this project and this initiative, and most of you, many of you, have actually worked on these urban planning and open space issues for many years. Now, first, I thank you. We have been with you in spirit, and we certainly will continue with you on the journey. But we know the journey is not over. We're at the beginning, and we're in the middle, and we're at the end in some areas. After Corinne and Gavin speak today, one of the ways that we want to take this forward is that we want to have a really active question and answer, not only so you can clarify your understanding of what we've been trying to say, but so we can also get some feedback on some of the ideas where we can continue to work on this area that helps you with your influence in public open space in the future. I mean, we want to work with you, and we want to work for you in this area. And as a public policy think tank, we have a certain role that we can play, and we would like your feedback on exactly where you think that role is so that it enhances your ability to influence. Last but not least, very brief introduction of these amazing speakers at the front, who are so well dressed you wouldn't believe it. Corinne is a lead researcher. She is the lead researcher on this project. She's had a long history with Civic Exchange starting in 2004. She's worked on issues relating to Asian well-being, the well-being of Asian cities, walkability, urban design, urban renewal, governance in Hong Kong. She is an absolute legend for the passion that she brings to this issue, and her mind, both in the way she analyses and her creativity that she brings to it. I think you'll see some of that today. Gavin Coates, landscape architect, over 30 years of experience in Hong Kong. You've seen their detailed bios, so what I'm going to tell you about them is that they've actually worked together on a project before. You may know that Gavin is a political cartoonist, and did you know that back in 2005, Civic Exchange actually published a book of Gavin's political cartoons, which was edited by Corinne Lai, Layout Monkey, and Christine Lowe. So they have a long history of working together too. So without further ado, I will begin with Corinne. Thank you.